I just had technical difficulties and I'm just like annoyed. But we're going to do this because I'm really excited. I am talking about all the latest modern gadgets. So let's get into it. We're talking all the gadgets today, all the modern gadgets. So this is your red light, green light therapies, or sauna, cold plunge, grounding mats, sound bowls, all of it. We're talking about all of it, why it's important, and if you actually need it. So, spoiler alert, a lot of this stuff is free. I'm going to shout out Dr. Courtney Hunt because she has really put me on to the necessities of how to help us feel better. I really think that our ultimate goal is to reverse age, biohack, like have some mind body experience, enlightenment, and all around to just feel better. I am, I'm like, I don't know if I want to say I'm a victim. I don't feel like a victim, but I definitely a few years ago was buying all the things. I was making cases to my husband about why I needed red light therapy, why I needed a sauna, why I needed all of these different support tools to help me. I would get into things like chiropractic care and acupuncture, but I'm going to save that for collective consulting membership. So get into the membership, come into our library, meet us at our Saturday workshops and Q&As because that's where we start talking about all of these other alternative cares that don't really seem to be fixing the problem. Anyway, that's a little tangent. I will probably shout Dr. Courtney Hunt out like a lot because she is one of the most influential people into collective consulting, how we frame our programs and the information we put out there. Because literally, we all have access to the information. Now, there's some research articles and books and things like that that you do have to pay for that we have a membership with, and we have access to certain research journals and things like that. But for the most part, you can also find this information out there on the interwebs, intertubules, the ether, whatever you want to call it. You have access to this information. All I'm doing is just kind of compiling it in there, synthesizing it, and regurgitating it in a way that might be a little bit more palatable to people like you, to collective consulting members. So I'm going to get into it. Let's first talk about light therapies. So, first and foremost, all of these different light therapies, well, actually, all of these gadgets are really mimicking things that we can already do ourselves. So, light therapies, the sun, y'all. The sun, the free thing that comes up and that sun that rises and sets every single day. That's your red light therapy. That's your green light therapy. That's your blue light. That's your purple light. That's your all the light that our eyes can see. Because there's more light, apparently. Me personally, I haven't looked that far in, but there's a lot more than the colors of the rainbow. Our eyes, the human body has just evolved to only see, Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. You don't have to pay, you don't have to spend the hundreds of thousands of dollars on these red light therapies. Now, I will tell you that I have invested in two red light therapies. So, one is an actual red light therapy lamp, the other is infrared red light therapy sauna, which I'll talk about sauna here in a second. But red light therapy is free. You just have to go outside or you have to open up a window, and there's your red light therapy. Now, I will say that if you have a very specific goal and you really want to use red light therapy, green light therapy for a specific reason, then it might be helpful. But spoiler alert, just go outside. If you want to look more into certain light therapies, the technical term is called photobiomodulation. So researchers like to use their sciencey words. And so if you were to go into PubMed, you'll have to search up photobiomodulation, and that's where you'll find the endless amounts of research. There's copious amounts of research on different light therapies. So there's that. I like my red light therapy things. It's helpful mainly because the lights that are like automatically installed into our houses nowadays is primarily blue light, which if you take Dr. Courtney Hunt's light group, or if you just listen to her, she will tell you that blue light is like noon. So when you go into your house at 6 p.m. and you flip on your kitchen lights, you're basically telling your entire body it's noon. I don't even want to. A part of me wants to get into the fact that our phones, our LED phone, like that also is blue light, but I'm going to save that for red light therapy, green light therapy lights. They actually do have a purpose. They are really helpful if you can't get outside. So the way that I like to use my red light therapy lamp is because I wake up at 5:30, summer, winter, fall, spring. Me and my husband are waking up at 5:30. Now, there are some days where I don't wake up at 5:30. But for the most part, I wake up at 5:30. I'm not trying to flip on my LED lights to tell my body it's noon. I want my body to think, oh, okay, the day is starting, sunrise, blah, blah, blah. We also replaced our LEDs with LEDs that can change colors. So that's a whole nother thing. Again, if I was speaking just about light, I would probably go into it, but for now I want to stick with all the different gadgets. So, red light therapy is actually super duper helpful, mainly because it doesn't studies show, and I guess I could pop it up here, but research shows that red light doesn't actually change much of our circadian biology, our circadian rhythm. Basically, telling like our body saying what time of day it is, which the time of day really is just where the sun is, how high the sun is, what kind of light's coming through with the sun, all that other stuff. So, red light is shown to not have a huge impact in the circadian rhythm. That is why I choose red light therapy for like when I wake up. I have a really big lamp on my nightstand that I can just flip on. And I basically spend until sunrise. That's the light that my eyes see, that my body sees. So that's red light therapy. It was so helpful to learn and actually do the research. If you were to go onto PubMed, which is my favorite place to live, you could type in red light therapy. You should also type in photobiomodulation. Am I saying that right? Maybe not. I'll put it here. Is basically light therapy. It is super helpful because at least in America, so on the western more developed countries, humans spend a good chunk of our time inside. Y'all know we didn't evolve that way. So we have to figure out all these different gadgets, and I'll get into some of the other ones. All these different gadgets are meant to simulate life outdoors. Outdoors, that's where my window is. Thank you, Dr. Courtney. Thank you, Dr. Hunt, for saving my wallet, because I can just go outside and get whatever light therapy I need or want. At sunrise, red light comes out, and red light literally is in our atmosphere all day, every day. Now, for some of us, we can't stay out all day. You literally have to go in at a certain point. And from my perspective, at that point, you've got what you need. So it's totally okay if you want to do a little bit more, but you're just inside. That's actually a great segue to talking about saunas. So let's talk sauna and cold plunge. I love my sauna. I love my sauna. I think I paid $800, $900 for my sauna. I've had it for 3 years, and it is probably 100% worth it. Getting into a sauna simulates what it's like to work out really hard and sweat a ton, or what it's like to be outside on a 100-degree day. You're going to sweat, and you don't even have to be in the sun in order to sweat on a 100-degree day. I know because I live in Texas, and if I go outside in 100 degrees, you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be sweating in probably 10 minutes. Sweating is good. We want to sweat. Sweating is one of the most efficient ways that our body detoxes all the junk that's in our environment. I want to sweat. That is why I love my sauna, because I can sit in my sauna, I can work on my phone, I can take care of text messages, phone calls, whatever from my sauna, and not have to be working out really hard, and I don't have to be outside if it's not 100 degrees. That's the sauna. You don't have to get a sauna. You literally can work out, go for a jog in the heat. You can literally go outside and sit in the middle of summer in 100 degrees in the shade, and you will most likely sweat. What my sauna does is my sauna simulates summer during winter, because it gets to be winter. Sitting in the sauna simulates summertime all the time. If I go, I can put my sauna goes up to 170 degrees. I did have to work myself up to that because my cells were not ready to be in 170 degrees for 30 to 50 minutes at a time. So that's called heat shock proteins. We don't really have to get into the technicality of it, but there is a chance that you will have to work yourself up to being able to sit in a sauna at 170 degrees for an extended period of time. I started, I think, at like 130 and slowly worked my way up. Anyway, a sauna simulates that for your body. It is literally stressing your body out to the point where it has to work harder. That's how you detox. That is how you clean your brain. I will go on a whole nother topic about cleaning your brain. That'll probably be like, I might turn that into a webinar. We'll see. The sauna kicks in these heat shock proteins and basically stresses your body out to the point where it has to work harder. It's making your cells work and turn over energy. You don't have to get the sauna if you don't want to. A sauna, I love a sauna. I will promote an in-house sauna, or if you go to the gym and there's a sauna, work your way up to being able to stay in there. Now, where I live in Texas, I live 30 minutes away from a gym. That is a barrier to entry for me. I already have to commute to work. I'm not trying to also commute to the gym. So I had to figure out for myself what will allow me to get the benefits of exercising and working out my body without that barrier to entry of taking advantage of it. So I recognize that some of you can't really afford to spend hundreds of dollars on your own in home sauna. That's totally fine. You don't have to. Can you afford a $50 gym membership where they have a sauna in there? Maybe. Okay, so sauna aside, cold plunge. Now, there are schools of thought, and I am in the school of thought of you can do a 30 to 60-second cold shower and call it a day. I am a melanated being. My genetics evolved where there was a lot of sun. So if there's a lot of sun, my genetics is like, we don't really know what the cold is. So for me, and this is how I rationalize it in my brain, not research based at all, just how I'm like, well, if X, then Y follows. X being my genes evolved in the sun. My genes evolved in hot climate, And if you go to a hot climate, you will know that it doesn't really get that cold. It gets cold. They still have winter, but it's not that cold. It is not a Nordic winter. It's not an Alaskan winter. And so, what that means is that my body probably doesn't really need a whole lot of cold. I do give it cold though. So I'll hop in, I'll take I basically take cold showers probably 5 out of the 7 days of the week. There are some days where I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I don't feel like being cold. I don't want to be cold. I'm not going to be cold. So I don't do it. Now, cold plunges, again, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can An easy way to do a cold plunge for my athletes out there, y'all know what an ice bath is. Go up the street to your nearest gas station, buy 3 to 4 bags of ice, pour it into your tub, turn on a little bit of cold water, and boom, you've got a cold plunge for, I don't know, the price of ice has kind of gone up. $15 maybe. 4 bags of ice might be $15. I don't know where it is for you. You can also just use your ice maker and just keep dumping your ice into your tub and then wait until that would take a really long time. Don't really do that unless you have all day. If you don't want to spend the money on a cold plunge, you don't have to. Sauna, heat shock proteins, cold plunge, cold shock proteins. It's really just another way to stress your body out. So if you go hot to cold, there are some gyms and some spas that actually do have the hot to cold baths where you can go into a basically a hot tub and then you go into a cold tub where they drop the temperature to whatever degrees and it's cold. Again, you're literally just shocking the body. You're stressing it out so that it forces your cells to turn over. I know I'm oversimplifying. So you researchers, you scientists out there, the people, those of you who already study this stuff, don't come for me, okay? I'm making it very simple. And it really can be this simple. I like to go into the sauna. I'm getting drenched sweat. I lift some weights. When I get done, I take a cold shower. That is my heat to cold shock everything. And then I move on with my day. Now, eventually, I may work myself up to getting into a cold plunge, but I don't know. Personally, I'm like, it's working for me right now. So why change anything? You will most likely have to work yourself up to being in a cold plunge. You have to get your body, your cells reoriented to what it feels like to be that cold. I'm now to the point where I can take a morning walk in like the spring fall time when it's 40 degrees in the morning in a tank top and shorts. My body just got used to it. I look crazy. I feel crazy because we don't do that. Because people who look like me typically don't do that. But I feel really good about it. I like doing it. So again, saunas, cold plunges, they're really just simulating what would happen outside. If you were out hiking on a summer day or down by the river and then you jumped in, that's a cold plunge. The next thing is grounding mats. Grounding mats and EMF. I'm not going to get into EMF stuff publicly. I will definitely probably record something and put it in the collective consulting vault because EMF people, they're very passionate to say the least about EMFs. Okay, so grounding mats. Grounding can be free. You literally go outside barefoot, stand on the grass. You are grounding. You don't you don't want to take your shoes off? You don't want to walk in the grass? Cool. Touch a tree. The tree is connected to the earth. You are connected to the tree and therefore you're grounding. There's this thing called frequency and resonance, and energy, and hertz. So these are all physics, fancy words. And in the woo woo area, those different providers and practitioners like to talk in those terms. But really, the earth does give off a frequency. Grounding yourself, I'm speaking super baseline. There's actually a lot of technical technical words to what I'm saying, but I'm just gonna keep it kind of base. Grounding is just a great way to recenter yourself, to realign anything that might be like buzzy. So, if you want to ground, you don't have to buy all the things, just go outside. If you're scared to go outside, if you don't want to go outside, buy the grounding mat, invest the money, get a grounding mat. I did end up getting a grounding mat. It was not my cup of tea. There was a barrier to entry to use it. Like I would have to get it out of the box. I would have to plug it in. I'd have to make sure that my grounding plug was actually grounded. Or if you want to get one of those super long strings that go out the window and into the ground, that's what you have to do too. If you want to get a grounding mat, they make grounding sheets. They make all types of stuff for grounding. So if you have the funds to invest in that, cool. I personally would recommend that you go outside for 5 minutes and ground in some way outside. Whether it's barefoot or whether it's you touching a plant, go outside. It can be free. Unless you don't want to go outside or unless it's not safe for you to go outside. Then you need the grounding mats. Sound bowls. I love sound bowls. I love singing bowls. I personally have, I think, 428 hertz sound bowls. They're beautiful. They feel really good. And they're all just about frequency. So if you can't afford and don't want to afford or don't have the space for sound bowls, go outside when the birds are singing. I mean, it really is just an exchange of frequency, which I don't want to go into because there's a lot of nuance to frequency. Let's say that you don't have any birds, get a bird feeder. Get a bird feeder, birds will come, birds will sing, birds will like your yard. That's how I attract them. Call me a manipulator if you want, but it works. So that's sound bowls. I saved the best for last because these things are kind of my non negotiable. They're my non negotiable. They may not be yours, but blue light blocking glasses. They are everywhere. Lots of people talk about blue light blocking glasses. Um, they are super important. Blue light blocking glasses are super important because most of the lights, at least in America, are LEDs. White LEDs. White LED lights mimic 12 noon sunlight. So when you're in your kitchen cooking at 6 p.m. with your LED kitchen lights on, you are simulating noon light. That is disrupting your circadian rhythm. It's just disrupting how your cells know what they're supposed to be doing, right? So think serotonin, think melatonin. So melatonin, I go to sleep, serotonin, I wake up. It's messing with that. Again, I know I'm oversimplifying this, and it can be that simple. If you can't do anything about your lights, so literally, I just transitioned to having lights that change color. There's still LEDs, but I get to trick my brain, I get to trick my cells into believing that it's red light. Because that's kind of how our eye works. That's why the glasses work, because we put this shade, this tent over our eyes so that it's not perceiving the LED in my ceiling as 12 noon light. It's not the end all be all. So let's not get it twisted. If you're up at 2 a.m. and you got your blue light blockers on, you're not tricking your body into thinking that it's like we're winding down. It's still really late at night and you should probably be asleep. No judgment though. If you're up at 2 a.m. scrolling, watching this video, give me a little like, give me a little thumbs up. There's no judgment here. I get it. I used to stay up till 2, 3, sometimes 4 a.m. That's a little too late. That's like, anyway, I used to do that. And then I cleaned my brain. Then I studied a little bit and realized, girl, you shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, blue light blockers, you get a yellow pair, you get those like yellow pair for the day so that it blocks out some of that blue. If you stare at a screen all the time, if you're on your phone all the time, invest in some of those yellow ones, or they don't have to be yellow, they can be whatever the daytime ones are. But just give your system a little bit of a break from seeing that noon light all the time. Then at night, when the sun sets, you want to get those amber ones, those red glasses, the ones that kind of look weird and you're like, what is happening here? Those ones are going to just help take out more of that light, right? So think okay, it's not noon anymore. Oh, maybe it's 2 p.m. or maybe it's 10 a.m. Again, I know I'm oversimplifying. It's not exactly correct what I'm saying. And that's basically what we're trying to simulate here. When we put those red, amber, blue light blocking glasses on, we're trying to simulate sunrise or sunset just to trick our brain, trick our body into believing that we're not staring at 12 noon sunlight. Because, spoiler alert, your phone is mimicking 12 noon sunlight. Anyway, that just blows my mind. When I learned that a few years ago, I was just like, why are we doing that? I'm like, how can I say this? A good chunk of the unhappiness, the anxiousness, the depression that America specifically is experiencing, a lot of it has to do with the fact that we stare at 12 noon sunlight all the time, all day, every day. I have like dark screens, I have filters on my phone and on my computer. And sometimes it's still not enough for me. Sometimes I'm just like, I cannot look at this anymore. I can't be around this. I have to take a break because I know that I am basically rewiring my brain in a way. So I guess I could kind of, I'll probably do another video on that. But anyway, the ultimate goal, at least in my opinion, the ultimate goal is for us to feel better. All of these different gadgets, all of these different knickknacks and things are to support our body and to help us feel better. We just want to feel better. I don't even care if I'm perfect. I don't care if I'm my authentic self. Although in collective consulting, you will learn how to be your authentic self. It is possible. Clean your brain, change some of your lifestyle, and the expansiveness, the clarity that comes with doing those things, with biohacking, with reverse aging, whatever you want to call it, we're just trying to feel better. And I believe that you can. In terms of these gadgets, if you can afford the gadgets, get the gadgets because the gadgets help simulate what's already free. Okay. They help simulate the sun. They help simulate exercise. They help simulate frequency. They help simulate electromagnetic frequency. I'm going to say it out loud. I'm not going to shorten it to trigger anybody, but I definitely am feeling called to do something on EMFs and heavy metals. But that's anyway. They simulate it. So if you use it, if you use these gadgets in the way that free life, is meant to simulate, then by all means do it. I know I certainly do. I use my sauna to simulate what I need it to simulate so I can reach a goal, a health, body, mental goal that I have for myself. And you can too. So, in the collective consulting membership, we have the library of all the different research studies. Everything that I am sharing with you is backed up by research articles. And you know me, I will also share it. So if you DM me, I have no problem. If you email, I will have no problem sharing some research articles that back up what I'm talking about. And you can do the research too. I have a video, I guess I could link it, but I have a video just showing what I do in PubMed to find free articles so that I can just study, so I can learn a little bit more. And you have to read it and read it again and maybe have a dictionary with you because some of the stuff is kind of hard to understand. And again, it's free. It's free. That's my favorite part about it. I don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to feel better. I can feel better with the freeness of going outside. I can feel better with myself, how I diet. And then there's the emotional processing part. So, if you are interested in getting some mind body somatic experiencing sessions, members have access to getting one on one sessions with me so that we can process some of that emotional stress that might be weighing your body down. You can do it. You really can start to feel better without all the gadgets. Anyway, I love my gadgets. I do have my gadgets. I guess I should post a little bit about the gadgets that I have. I don't have that many anymore. Oh, I didn't even talk about rock mats. Whatever. It's just another gadget. Go step on some rocks, go hiking without shoes on, and that's a rock mat. Anyway, okay, I'm going to close it there because now I'm just going to start rambling. But if you have any questions or want to know more, join Collective Consulting, DM me, make a comment, and I look forward to continuing this conversation about life. You're doing a great job. And remember, you're doing the best you can. I'll see you in the Collective Consulting membership. Take care.